You're listening to the Zone Coverage Football Show, where opinions, passion, and pride are always on the line. Live from Tees Towers, here's your host, Mark Tees.
Hello, and welcome along to what is episode number 10 of the good old Zone Coverage Football Show. Mark Tees here, as always, as I guide you through another 90 minutes of madness, stumbling, and whatever. You know how the show is by now. Whatever happens. So what have we got today? It's a busy show. I'm going to do a sort of like quarter of the season review. Going to list my top 4 QBs, running backs, wide receivers. I've even gone coaches as well. So I want you guys to interact with that. Tell me how crazy I am. Tell me who I've missed off. Or if the list is just utter madness. We've got that. I've got a few questions from a few followers as well. What else do we have? Got the Love Line feature. I've also made notes. If we get time on the show, if there's not an abundance of calls, going to run through all 32 teams, give you my questions and answers. I feel we've got more questions than answers at this point in the season on each team, so got a few notes there. I'm going to run through those as well. The Love Line feature, if you are new to the show, the Love Line feature, I'll explain that a little later. I'm just going to tease and make you listen, actually. We got the good old NFL news and the hot route. Before we get into all that, there's a bit of housekeeping, bit of self-promotion and all that sort of stuff. So, fingers crossed you are either listening live via the TuneIn and Spreaker apps. With the Spreaker app, by the way, if you're listening via that, when I'm on air, there's a little chat service. You can type away to me. And fingers crossed, it should pop up on my little screen, and I'll try my best to interact with you. If not, I shall just talk nonsense, as I tend to do on this show. So that's TuneIn and Spreaker for the live. If you want to listen back, you can do that on both of those services mentioned just, but if you want to go iTunes or Stitcher, subscribe there. We will left a rating last week, which I did go over. So iTunes and Stitcher for your on-demand stuff. Interacting, Twitter, Facebook, you can do that. That is Zone Coverage FS. Same for the Facebook page. Just search Zone Coverage Football Show. And if 140 characters is not enough to have a rant or whatever you want to say, hit me up with an email. That is zonecoveragefoootballshow@mail.com. I think I've got all bases covered there, yeah? Live, on demand and all that. So what is it now? Sunday, the 5th of October, week 5 of the season. It's been absolutely utter madness. I've loved the 4 weeks of the season so far. Plenty of upsets and a certain ug-wearing Tom Brady. Sorry, Pats fans, but I've been waiting 10 years for the cracks to appear. I still need more evidence. I can't get too excited, but yes. Is the time nearly done? Is Father Time catching up with him? Especially when you've got other players that are defying Father Time. A certain Steve Smith springs to mind. But before we get all to that, let's set this week's hot route. And last week's hot route was all about the Wembley games and all that sort of stuff. The international series. Do you want a team in London? So before I get into that, I want to just touch back on the feedback I received from you guys regarding Wembley. So, right then, what sort of happened? I had a question on Twitter, actually, from at Jamie Roach. He said, did anyone ask about if we did have a home franchise, would it affect like the TV situation? So I do know that if the local teams don't sell out, there would be a blackout. So that's maybe something to consider forward. I don't know if I can shed any light on that. I've sort of asked around and nothing. Also heard a lot of stuff. I think I tweeted this out a few times. Channel 4's broadcast last week. They were high on, let's push this international game. It's on Channel 4, fair dues, appreciate that, well done. And then 8 o'clock at night, we're going to 4OD. Excuse me? What is the point? How are you trying to sell this? It's not like you'd got an allotted time period and maybe it had gone to overtime and then you have to bump the broadcast. I can deal with that because that happens. You can't foresee that. But the question is, it's just... Hang on. Yeah, sorry. Someone popped up then on my phone. I had a mid-panic there. So the question is, why did that happen? Why did they just decide that they could just cart us off from one show to the other? It's ridiculous. Also, what else happened? Colin Murray. Colin Murray. Why was he on there? Also, Joey Barton. What was going on there? Channel 4. I did tweet at Channel 4. Asked them about the coverage and stuff. Shocker. No one replied at all. Also, I was tweeting out a few things. I actually tweeted at Wembley because Tom Marshall mentioned the food at Wembley. He said it was ridiculously expensive and tasted bloody awful. He says he will now be... I said I'd share his experience on the show, and he'll be eating outside of the ground going forward. Again, I tweeted at Wembley. Could you provide any info about the state of the food and the high prices? Guess what? No response. So I've been trying to sort of answer the questions and that, but I'm hitting a brick wall. I don't know if anyone out there has had any better luck than what I have. Just let me know. So the number is 0161 818 4593. And the hot route today, I mentioned it earlier, but I've got more questions than answers on the season. The Cowboys. Who are the Cowboys? They're supposed to have the worst defence ever. And yet they're 3-1. DeMarco Murray looks outstanding. Can he stay healthy? What is the secret there in Dallas? What is going on? The Saints. What's happened to the Saints? They got the rear end handed to them. Jarius Byrd, spoiler alert for the upcoming news. He's now out for the season. So he's had, this will be his second surgery now since signing a big contract. So will the Saints be better without Byrd? Was Byrd the problem? What's going on? Saints appear to be the worst tacklers. So there's a lot of questions. Like you say, good old Tom Brady, is he on the decline? Eli Manning, I absolutely ridiculed him all through the off-season and the pre-season games and that. He looks very good now. I hate that elite. I've seen Eli plus tight end equals elite. That drives me insane. But if you are a Giants fan and that's floating your boat, give me a ring. 0161 818 4593. If you don't want to ring, you can hit me up on good old Skype. That is Mr. T-E-E-C-E Mr. T-E-E-C-E Mr. on Skype. Twitter, get in touch. Twitter, Zone Coverage FS. So before I jump into the news, I just check up on Twitter because my phone flashed furiously there for a moment. So we should just check in on there and see what is happening. Just bear with me 1 second. It always tends to happen this. Check Twitter and... Right, hang on. Do you realise I'm meant to be scouting right now? What better... Oh, yeah. So the UK draft guys hit us. Oh, we've got to straight to the phone line. Straight to the phone. Hello? Hello,
Mark. How's you?
Hello. I'm very well. Who's that?
It's Biff.
Biff. I get mixed up, Biff. Some weeks you sound fantastic. Some weeks you sound a bit hungover.
Yeah, I'm not hungover today, so that's right.
Good man. What can I do you for today, sir?
I was listening on Stitcher and I heard you going on about Wembley and the food and the price of the drink and all that.
Oh, yeah?
Just back a few weeks ago, I just told you that we were at the Penn State game and UCF up in Dublin.
Oh, yes, that was right, yeah.
Well, it was the same there. The food was atrocious.
Was it? Ah.
The whole atrocious. Like, you'd ask for a pint of Carlsberg because that's all they were selling, and cider, and it was 3/4 of a pint, and it was basically muck.
All right. What about the food then? Did that not taste up to usual sort of standards? Or?
No, it was raw chips.
Oh,
you could bounce the chicken off the ground.
Oh dear!
It was that bad. Yeah.
Wow. What do you reckon?
Oh yeah, because we need soakage.
Yeah. Yeah, it's best to line the stomach before a day or night out on the town. What do you reckon the deal is there then? Is there maybe a similar sort of caterer that provides for sort of match day experiences that isn't holding their end of the bargain, or what? Or
well, to be honest, I don't think they're holding their end of the bargain. It's just they're basically getting a load of cheap food probably and just horse it out here.
Yeah, is it just a case of like everyone's going to be what's the phrase I'm looking for here? A bit lagered up, a bit worse for the wear. They'll eat anything as to line the stomach so we can serve them anything sort of thing. Yeah.
You see, when it comes to GA in Ireland, the hurling and football matches in Croke Park, there's no alcohol involved.
Oh right.
Yeah.
Ah.
And up there, because it is an American sport, American football, they had the alcohol being served at the bars. But, yeah, it was terrible.
It's terrible. So this is like a common theme now then. Be interesting
to
see if
it's not only Wembley.
Yeah, I wonder. It's just annoying, isn't it? It's like, say, fans have spent a lot of money as it is, and especially if you've got like young children with you and that, it's hard to say, "Look, I can't. This is expensive." You're going to take it on the chin. You've got to provide your kids with a drink and refreshments and all that. I just think they just, I think they're taking advantage of that, and then to provide you with a poor sample of food and that, it just doesn't bode well.
€50 for your ticket.
Yeah. It's a lot of money, isn't it? I saw a lot of people last week saying that they were going to a Tesco Express outside of, not far from Wembley, and they were just eating. I think I saw someone who actually took a picture of a bag of like crisps, a drink, pie, something else, and it was maybe about £7 or £8, where inside a burger and a pint, don't quote me on this, was around about £10 to £12, something like that. It's just, again, it's another of... these little rumblings, these are your die-hard fans that are making this journey, and I've not heard a great deal of positive feedback. I mentioned it just about the TV channel. Why are they switching the TV channel halfway through a broadcast? It's crazy.
That's it.
It's like a half...
You go to your local, like you have Wembley Stadium, we have Croke Park, and like there was no stalls or anything around in the stadiums or outside the stadium selling merchandise.
Really?
Which I thought was shocking, because you would have had people buying stuff.
Yeah, it's a market, isn't it? You go for it, because where else can you get it from? We spoke about it on the show before with like your charges for when UPS or whoever knocks on your door, your shipping and all that is extortionate. So feed the masses. That's
it. Like, you had down the road, you had them selling the scarves and the photographs and hats, but they were terrible looking, cheap stuff.
Oh, like so to say, sort of like knockoff sort of stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and they were terrible looking knockoffs.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, like somebody could have took advantage of that now and made a mint.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate side to it, isn't it?
Even decent stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I was looking around, and if there was a Penn State nice T-shirt there now, I would have picked it up for myself for a baseball cap, but there was nothing.
Yeah, that's it. You don't mind the odd nice-looking T-shirt, plain T-shirt of some sort of logo on. Say it was, what? Let's say, realistically, £10, £15. You'd put your hand in your pocket and probably get that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You definitely would.
Nice T-shirt, yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. It's something I definitely do. It frustrates me, just because... I don't know, I keep saying it, when the game's on and that, they'll all push it. Have you seen any advertising of much as you did last week for week 5? There's probably better games, better schedule this week than there was last week. There's some great games on it, and there's no fuss about it. Where are these celebrities that crawl out the woodwork and suddenly love American football? Where are they now? They sat at home watching Sky, watching the football, or being pampered, being fed grapes, or stroking a tiger, something random. They're not there now, are they, with the Game Pass on, geared up? They're not listening to the show. This is where Sunday starts. It just winds me up. You've got me going now, Bev. Not good.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. Right then, rant aside, what else can I do for you? Anything else, as I mentioned?
No, I just said to myself that ring in since you just you hit on that.
Yeah.
Just to let you know, it wasn't only Wembley.
Yeah, that's good to know then. It's sort of like a universal that fans are getting shafted no matter where they go and watch a game.
Yeah.
This side of the pond.
Like €50, like, for your ticket. Even, like, there was a lot of kids there.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people from the States. There was a lot of people from around Ireland. You're paying good money to sit in the stadium and watch football, and you deserve to be you deserve to have the likes of good grub there, good alcohol, even a selection of alcohol, merchandise out at gates, shops inside selling. You know, they could have sold merchandise. Penn State could have, or UCF could have, just in behind the stands.
Yeah.
But there was nothing.
It's an opportunity missed, isn't it? I've said it before. Yeah. If you see someone with a different jersey on or something you've not seen before, you might go up to them and say, excuse me, mate, never seen that jersey before. It's an American football team. Oh, right, cool.
Yeah.
How'd you get into that?
Like, there was actually a really good mixture of supporters up there. Like, I was about 10 yards away from a guy wearing Alabama from head to toe.
Yeah.
In a Penn State game.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It just sparks conversation. Like, right, okay then.
Yeah.
Why were you here? Who'd you come with? What's your sort of story and stuff?
Yeah.
And then,
we went for a walk in the stadium looking for a Jack's that was empty, and I came across a husband and wife there with their baby in a pram.
All right.
And I thought it was awesome looking, and the baby sitting up having a great laugh.
Good stuff. Good
it was
stuff.
strange, but it was awesome.
Good. Fantastic.
Yeah. So that's all.
Okay, I appreciate that, Biff. Sorry to
no bother.
jump all over that and get me going. You've got me fired up now.
No problem.
Okay, then, Biff. Appreciate the call, buddy. And I shall I'll catch you as the night progresses. And fingers crossed, a win in San Diego for our beloved Jets.
Oh yeah, back to the wall.
Yes. That's another rant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Save that till tomorrow.
Oh yes, definitely
on Twitter.
Yeah. Okay, then, Biff. I appreciate the call,
mind
mate.
yourself and have a good show, Mark.
Will do. Cheers, mate. Catch you later. Bye.
Cheerio.
And that was Biff ringing in. Biff Sweeney on Twitter. If you want to give Biff a good follow, he's a cracking guy. I think that's about his third call into the show now. So good to know that it's everyone. Well, it's not good to know. It's bad that they made a mess of the college game. Expensive, and the food was rubbish there as well as it was here. Again, it frustrates me. If you've had a similar experience, or say Wembley was a joyous occasion for you, you enjoyed the game, whatever your thoughts are, any sort of questions that you've got sort of pending, hit me up, 0161 818 4593. Right then, I was on Twitter just before Biff rung in. Sorry to UK draft guide Matt Phillips. He did say, you realise I'm meant to be scouting right now, but what a better interlude than the zone coverage football show. Fantastic. Appreciate that, Matt. Richard Tinley. Oh, yes, he's talking. Oh, it's Biff Aru Jet. Sorry. Biff, who's just called in, said he's found the number after the F-bomb gate and the video calls from about week 4 or 5, I do believe. So right then, as I calm down now from my little rant, let's get into some good old NFL news and see what's gone on over the course of the last 7 days. NFL news! Right then, it all sort of kicked off on Monday as the Buffalo Bills announced that they are benching EJ Manuel in favour of Kyle Orton. Kyle Orton, he'd signed a 2-year, $11 million deal. Pretty much after robbing $3 or $4 million off the Cowboys, he's gone, I don't know if I won't play this year. I just don't know if I can be bothered to get out of bed in the morning. They sort of cut him, kept the money. A couple of weeks later, maybe a couple of months later, signs with the Bills. So the Bills have gone that sort of route now. Head coach Doug Marrone, I'm sure he's worried about his job, really. They've got new owners up there in Buffalo, so he didn't even ask the front office about this. This is an exact quote. I didn't ask the front office for an agreement. I just went in and said this is the direction I'm going in. And for me, the Bills are at 2-2. Doug Marrone there, I applaud that move on your part, sir. You're 2-2, Manuel's not delivering the goods for you. You fear for your job and you feel that this could be the best course of action with you. Many people say the Bills are a talented roster. The weak spot is the quarterback. I've seen quotes from Sammy Watkins, rightfully or wrongfully, saying that Orton gets the ball out quicker and so on and so on. Maybe a bit of rookie advice there. Maybe sort of calm down on that talk because you're sort of throwing EJ under the bus. Bit naive, but there you go. I can't blame the Bills for going in that direction, if I'm honest. This was an absolute shocker to me. I would imagine it would have caught you lot out as well. Colts safety / Mr. Universe, LaRon Landry was suspended for 4 games for violating the PED policy. So, very, very strange, that one. Never saw that one coming at all, if I am honest. And if you don't know LaRon Landry, just Google him and you'll see the sort of irony I'm trying to place on that there. The Colts responded to this news by cutting wide receiver Derrick Rodgers and activated safety Dewan McDonald to the 53-man roster from the practice squad. My good old Jets cut wide receiver Jalen Saunders, a 4th-round pick from May's draft, and signed veteran wideout TJ Graham. So our draft looks absolutely shocking at the moment. Half of the picks have either been cut or on IR. We'll get into that later. I have a great question sent in via Marty, good old Toon Time. He asks about sort of general managers and sort of their qualifications and stuff. So we shall see what sort of happens there. I want your feedback from that as well. So the next sort of fallout news really happened on Tuesday as Raiders head coach Dennis Allen, he got the boot. There was a lot of rumours. I saw a story on, I think it was Twitter/Facebook. There's unnamed source, those good old unnamed sources that seem to creep out of the woodworks, saying that he'd been chopped via phone and then that disappeared, and then it's like 24 hours later it was confirmed. Tony Sperano takes over, and oh my word, I've got no good things to say about Tony Sperano. I saw him with the Dolphins, obviously being a Jets fan, and the Wildcat will drive you insane. He was OC with the Jets for one miserable season. Raiders fans, I feel for you. I really, really do. You just can't get anything. I can't catch a break of late. Fans-wise, probably got some of the best fans Raiders have. I'm not just saying that to curry favour with you guys. I do genuinely feel for that. You just, an organisation that's not being run right, and what do you do? Bang your head on the table on a consistent basis, one would imagine. Right then, back to the news. Where was I now? Yes, that was it. We got to Dennis Allen and stuff. Yeah, the Panthers, running back D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart are injured. So the Panthers then signed a veteran running back. This is going to be fun. Chris Ogbenayu. Yeah, anyway, we'll call him CO. He signed on Monday. The Dolphins signed former 49ers running back LaMichael James. If you can remember, guys, LaMichael James went crying to the 49ers, said, I want my contract cancelling. I don't want to play anymore. So they sort of waived his contract, and he's now landed with the Dolphins. Dolphins have a lot of injuries within the backfield there. Panthers, Frank Alexander, he's been suspended for 10 games for violating the league's substance abuse policy. He was banned for the first 4 games as it was anyway. Rolled into work on Monday. Got banned again. Well done, sir. Could you be any more stupid? Absolutely crazy. Also, some news that sort of broke over the last, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, last few days, that'd be them. Yeah, the NFL will begin testing for human growth hormones on Monday, according to the NFL media's Albert Breer. He was briefed on the situation by a source. But I hate all this briefing via sources. My source, Colin Murray and Joey Bolton, should not be on Channel 4. That's not from a source. That's coming from me and you guys. Absolute muppets. But we'll get into that later. Right then, what was he saying now? Yeah. Each week of the season, 5 players on 8 teams will be tested, but no testing will occur on game days. I touched on it earlier. Saints coach Sean Payton announced on Friday that Jarius Byrd, struggling with my pronunciation today, will miss the season after tearing his lateral meniscus ligament. He did that on Thursday in practice. He's now been placed on season-ending IR. So he's earned most of his guarantee. Yeah, he was the big splash in free agency, wasn't he, during this season, off-season I should say. He got $26.3 million guaranteed as part of his 6-year, $54 million. So yeah, if anyone's lying back stroking tigers and being fed grapes, it's Jarius Byrd right about now. Nice money if you can get it, sir. The Broncos have cut kicker Matt Prater. You will remember he was suspended for 4 games as well. I think he was violating his sort of substance abuse policy there, but that was like alcohol related. He got some sort of issues with that, and he'd been caught out. But the Broncos have decided to then roll with his replacement, Brandon McManus. McManus has yet to miss a kick during any of the games, so Prater's come back and he's got the boot. See, there seems to be a lot of this now. Have you noticed that? Any sort of player stepping out of line of sort of drugs or something that's sort of creating a bit of stir within the public, and rightly so, I might add, with some of the past news that we have had. You're getting the boot now. There doesn't seem to be a second chance. There's definitely been a sort of change in culture over the last month within the NFL. Some may argue that too little, too late, but hey, this is the way it's going now. New England Patriots, they've waived receiver Kenbrell Tompkins. Tom Brady a few weeks back said that he'd got the most sort of rapport with Kenbrell Tompkins. He was his go-to guy. He's been ditched. And they've promoted linebacker Ja'Gared Davis from the practice squad. Also, another wide receiver that's been in trouble with the Pats here is Aaron Dobson. The Boston Globe's Shaliz Manzit, that's probably pronounced wrong. We'll just roll with the Boston Globe. They've reported that Aaron Dobson has been inactive for the past 2 weeks because, quote, he mouthed off, unquote, to offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels. So all is not well in good old Patriots world. The last bit of news that I got here is Geno Smith lost his cool last week, dropped an F-bomb towards a fan. He's been fined $12,500 for that. So that is what I've got on the news over the course of the last few days, past weeks, in fairness. I've got a great deal else, yeah. We do catch up on the news as we go on. Tom from Huddle Magazine will be joining us around about 5:15, 5:20 with any sort of breaking news, yeah, as it sounds. Also coming up, we have the guys from Dundee NFL Fourth Down and Out podcast with the Fantasy 5 at 5. So we've got a few questions on that to go over. I'm just checking now. So again, guys, if you want to call in, 0161 818 4593. I'm going to check in on Twitter because my phone seems to be going crazy of late today. So just bear with me 1 second. Good old Warren. I used to play with Warren up for the Crew Railroaders. I think he went back to his old team. Yeah, he says he's tuning in to his first zone coverage football show. He's actually sent me a text, so I appreciate a text, Was. It says, great stuff. Thank you, sir. Tune in to your first one. We're 10 weeks in. Where you been? I know your season's just ended, so I shall give you a pass on that one, sir. So that was on. You can't text me on my private number because that would just be madness. Anyway, I'm aiming that to the rest of you. I said I'm not giving out my number. Right then, Richard Tinley and Biff Sweeney, a bit of going back and forth as regarding into Biff's mishap a few weeks ago when he couldn't ring the show. Right then, yeah, Richard Tinley says Bills have a new owner, which usually means change. Current regime sees the AFC's wide open. Therefore, they're going for it to save their jobs. Rich pretty much alluding to what I was saying earlier on. So a good decision there. Biff spreading the word about the show. And Brett Loveday at Cowyank reports that the Cowboys have offered DeMarco Murray a 4-year contract. So that is Brett Loveday bringing us breaking news as we go in on the show. So fingers crossed we'll have a little bit more on that as we go throughout the show. So again, if you want to get in touch with us, you can do. You can ring the show 0161 818 4593. Hit us up on Twitter, Zone Coverage FS. Those will be your best two ways to do that. Yeah. Oh yes. Just later before I come off Twitter. Ron refers to Biff's F-bomb from a few weeks ago. If Geno got a £12,500 fine, what does Biff get? I'm in no position to be handing fines or anything down. But yeah, great bit of banter going on there. So I appreciate all the comments and interaction as we go. Let's see what else have we got on the show. I did mention yes, let's get to this. My quarter season review. So this is what I'm going to do. I've not really worded this greatly, as I never do. So this is the plan. Quarter season review. Quarter is 4. Yeah, I nearly said 4 halves then. How stupid would that have been? So quarter is 4 bits of a whole. Anyway, less of the math problems and all that. I'm going to run down who I feel through 4 weeks of the season are the 4 best players at their position. So hopefully this will generate a bit of chatter and banter. So I'm going to go with quarterbacks. I'll start off with quarterbacks firstly. So at number 4, I've got Alex Smith. Why? Alex Smith has been playing very, very well. Outside of the box numbers and all his stats and stuff, if you can look at them and you can just pass over him, and I don't feel he gets enough credit for it. And I'm not going off the back of the game from Monday night, which, yes, he was clinical. He plays very smart football, makes great reads, great decisions. He's calm in the pocket. He played well up in Mile High a couple of weeks back as well, when they should have knocked off the Broncos, in all fairness. So I just feel that Alex credit, for me, 4 weeks in now, he's one of the top 4 quarterbacks, how his ball's been playing. Week 1 aside, yeah, it was a bit messy, but considering he's got a pretty awful O-line, he's still getting the ball out on time, doing a good job. So Alex Smith rolls in at number 4. In at number 3, Andy Dalton. And this one, I think maybe I put Andy in. Thinking about it now, I did this a couple of days ago. Andy Dalton's not done a great deal, in fairness. I think he's only thrown a couple of TDs, if memory serves me correct. Yes, sorry. He's completed 65.5% of his passes, 722 yards, 2 TDs, and the 1 pick. While he's not done a great deal, again, he's been sort of like Alex Smith, sort of, I hate the phrase game manager, but he's been efficient and he's moved the chains. He's not been asked to do a great deal, but what he has done, he's done very, very well. So that is Andy Dalton in at number 3. So I go number 2, Andrew Luck. For me, Andrew Luck, built like a linebacker, tight end, whatever. He's one of my favourite players to watch. He's a future Hall of Famer. I can't get enough of Andrew Luck. And yes, there's a lot of people jumping on the Andrew Luck bandwagon. He just does everything. How many times do you see him dig his team out of a hole, 3rd and long, 2nd and long? He'll run. He's got it all for me. I really like Andrew Luck's style, his attitude, how he comes across off camera. He just seems a genuinely nice guy, and I just like him. He's a great player, and the future, I can't even sort of project what sort of career he's going to have, because the start he's made to his career, this is 3rd year in now, he's probably going to be the highest paid quarterback in the league within the next 12 to 18 months. And Andrew Luck, he is one of the few people that I do enjoy watching at the quarterback position. In at number 1, and this one might be hotly contested, but I don't think you've got an argument, to be fair. San Diego Chargers, Phillip Rivers. For me, at this moment in time, offensive-wise, because defensive player-wise, and there's another position player pushing him for overall MVP, but Phillip Rivers is playing some of the best ball of his career. Last year, he took a massive step up. He's hit the ground running again. He's just been phenomenal. No one, in my eyes, is playing better than him. He's 70% of his passes completed, 1,155 yards, 9 touchdowns and 1 pick. Phillip Rivers is just phenomenal at this moment in time. Not much, as much as I'm praising him, I hope he has a down day today against my Jets, but hey. So that's my top 4 quarterbacks. Agree, disagree, get on Twitter, Zone Coverage FS. If I've missed anyone else off that list who you feel should be on there, let me know. Let's get this going and interacting here. We'll move on to the running backs. Let's get to that. Got a notable mention for Frank Gore. I don't like how the 49ers shy away from Frank Gore. Keep working him into the ground. He's proved that he can defy Father Time. He's exceptional. So Frank Gore gets a notable mention. In at 4, Niall Davis. I like what Niall Davis has done. He's come in, and the Chiefs' offense has not really missed a beat with, what's his name now? I forget his name. Oh, the other running back for the Chiefs. It'll come to me in a minute. But yeah, now Jamal Charles. Yes, there you go. He's come in. He's been phenomenal. Where's he gone now? Yeah, big bruising back, carried a load. He's averaging 4.5 yards a carry, 3 touchdowns. Even if they just rotate him and Charles in, that is a fantastic duo in the backfield there. Now, moving on, in at number 3, Alfred Morris of the Washington Redskins. I like what Morris does here. Again, shoddy team that he's on. The quarterback there is... it's an iffy situation going on there. But Morris, unsung hero. He doesn't grab many headlines and nothing with everything else that's going on in that team. He, again, averaging 4.5 yards per carry, 3 touchdowns, has 3 receptions. He's caught all 3 of his targets, 27 yards. So I just feel that Alfred Morris deserves a bit of love and fairness amid the chaos that is the Washington Redskins. In at number 2, could easily be number 1 in fairness. Could be your 1A and 1B of the league right now. Pittsburgh Steelers, Le'Veon Bell. What a difference a year makes. He appears to have slimmed down, great vision, great patience, waiting for the holes to open up for him, and then just explodes through the gaps. He looks in phenomenal shape. At the moment, he's averaging 5.3 yards per carry. It's just anything. I always view 4.5 yards a carry as good stuff, but 5.3 yards per carry at the moment. So yeah, Le'Veon Bell could easily have topped the running back list here, which it's going to be no shock who's number 1. We mentioned not long ago by our resident Cowboys fan. So yeah, DeMarco Murray, who is apparently on the verge of a 4-year deal, or he's been offered a 4-year deal, I should add. DeMarco Murray, he leads the league in rushing. He's 100 odd yards further ahead than anyone else. He's got 5.4 yards per carry, 534 yards, and all 5 touchdowns. He's caught 9 of his 11 targets for 68 yards. DeMarco Murray, is there a better back in the league at the moment? I'm arguing that Le'Veon Bell's there, your 1A and 1B. Agree, disagree? Again, get on Twitter at Zone Coverage FS 0161 818 4593. Just check in on Twitter here now. Got a few other mentions coming up. Always takes forever to scroll up my phone, does it? It's annoying. Says, thanks for the shout out, mate. Great show. Did some research. And this is from Rich Tinley. Did some research on the Jets in regards to the red zone. It says depressing. Very depressing. There's a lot of people jumping on the Brady bunch and some sad pictures of Tom Brady, which is good. Again, Woz says modern technology fails him in regards to getting on and onto the show. So he says, don't forget to add me to the top 5 quarterbacks. Oh dear. And just a bit of Jets banter going on there. Agree on Andrew Luck. That's from Toon Time there. So agree, disagree on what I've been running through there. We got your top 4 quarterbacks and my opinions, and your top 4 running backs. Let's go to the wide receivers. Honourable mentions for Golden Tate and Kelvin Benjamin here. They've impressed me in all honesty, but they've been beaten out. In at 4. I don't know if I need to revise this. No, I did this ahead of the Thursday game, so I shall stick with my original thoughts. Yeah, got Julio Jones in. He beats out AJ Green. Yeah, that one you could argue. I've just been impressed by Jones so far in the season, so he sneaks in at number 4. 447 yards, 3 touchdowns so far in the season. I've got in at 3, and this is probably where the most sort of controversy will stem from, I would imagine. Jordy Nelson, I got him in at number 3. This was before Thursday's game. He did lead the league going into Thursday's game, actually, with 459 yards receiving, 24 first downs and 3 touchdowns. So not only is he putting points on the board, he is moving the chains efficiently, and Aaron Rodgers is his go-to guy, as my miserable Jets discovered just a few weeks back. In at number 2, and quite possibly one of my favourite personalities within the NFL, that is the now Baltimore Ravens wide receiver Steve Smith Sr. What a character this guy is. I don't know if you've seen him sort of firing shots towards the Panthers organisation and Dave Gettleman in particular over the course of this last week. I think he was on a radio show and he dropped something along the lines of just mention something to the Panthers, and while you're at it, get them to go and mow my lawn. He's just come out with some absolutely classic one-liners over the course of the past few days. So Raven Steve Smith, he's probably playing, 35 years old now, playing just outrageous ball, and he's getting the rub of the green. It was that tipped pass that he took to the house last week. He's been lucky, I know. Flacco dropped a ball, sort of a blown coverage, he gets it. Steve Smith, again, this could be another podcast, actually. Characters within the NFL who you love to hate, sort of villains and heroes. But Steve Smith, one of my favourite people, and I'm happy for him. It wasn't right how he was treated in the end, and to go and prove that sort of point and rub their noses in, it was good. I'm sure he had mixed emotions because he didn't want to really annoy the hell out of the former fans that adored him, and I'm sure they still love and adore Steve Smith for who and what he is. But yeah, he creeps in at number 2 on the list. Topping the list, we have Steelers' Antonio Brown, who is pretty much the Steelers' offense, passing wise. Anyway, I mentioned Le'Veon Bell and the running backs earlier, but yeah, I was impressed how he abused Joe Hayden. Joe Hayden's had a struggle so far this year. He used to go off on a random tangent at the moment. I know, who has he actually? I know Brown took him to the woodshed, basically, but I know then Jimmy Graham, but he had good coverage against Graham. It just gets highlighted because he had a stinker the week before and the week after. Anyway, less of Joe Hayden. It's all about Antonio Brown at the top of the wide receiver charts. What's he got? 427 yards. Again, he's effectively moving the chains. 20 first downs, 5 touchdowns on there. So Antonio Brown tops the list on who I believe is the best wide receiver in the NFL through 4 weeks. And as I can see my phone beeping furiously, we should jump back on to Twitter. And I've just seen a tweet. I missed this off my news. I knew I should have mentioned it. Where are we? Yes, the NFL draft is moving to Chicago next year. I believe the date is April the 30th. It's still remaining a 3-day event, not a 4-day event. That comes from, again, Biff Sweeney. He actually asks, what do I make of the NFL moving the draft to Chicago? I pretty much feel that the NFL got pretty frustrated with the folks at Radio City Music Hall, because I know they had was it sort of an Easter parade or Easter gig on, and then that never happened. So rather than be not knowing what they were doing, get the venue, move it on, freshen things up. And Chicago, I've been to Chicago, fantastic place. Chicago is really, really good place to go. Have good fun around there. I was only there for a couple of days, but yeah, I'm all for that. Change is as good as the rest. Why not? Why not mix it up there? Let's just change it round to every city. How about whoever's got, this is an idea, whoever's got the overall number 1 pick should host the draft. That'd be a good idea. Thoughts on that? 01618184593. Zone Coverage FS on Twitter. A lot of people agreeing with DeMarco Murray being the number 1 running back. Huddle Magazine have tweeted in. Or Scoops. Huddle Magazine. Give them a follow at Huddle Magazine. NFL news throughout the afternoon. They're coming on the show around about 5:15, 5:20. Huddle will be on. Right then, could you do... I've got one from Ron here. Could you do a top player on your team tonight? Yeah. Oh, yes. There's a fantasy football league that we're all in. And it's head-to-head in the Teese household tonight. As I taught the wife into playing fantasy football last year. So this is her second season into it now. And we square off tonight. And as luck has it, I've got Eddie Lacy in my team. So I've got a 20-point advantage on her going into that. So at the moment she's very quiet, so we'll touch on that a bit later on. But back to this list. Where was I? We've done QBs, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends. Let's get into the tight ends. Number 4 on my list is Colts Dwayne Allen. Based on what he's done, he's caught... What is it? No, sorry. Based on what Colts Dwayne Allen has done... I can't even read my own writing, oh my word. Basically, he's had the least number of targets out of the top 15 tight ends at the moment. But with those 15 targets, he's averaging over 5 yards after the contact. He's got 8 first downs, 3 touchdowns. That was not worded very well. Oh, we've got an incoming call here from Ray. Hello, Ray.
Hello, how are you?
I'm very well, Ray. How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm keeping well. I thought I'd give you a ring today.
I appreciate that, mate. What can I do for you?
I'll tell you what I'm on about. I'm talking about you and I had a conversation about Game Pass.
Yes, we
and
did,
I'm
yeah.
on saying how I can't live without it.
Yeah.
It's fantastic between the stuff you can get with Game Rewind and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we did have a good conversation about geeking out on like your coach's film and stuff like that. And I always enjoy, like you say, the condensed versions. If you miss the game, quick half an hour, minus all those annoying adverts for cars and stuff and insurance.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what I've started to do is I don't wait for the late game if you like the Channel 4 game on a Sunday night. So, for example, the Patriots are on tonight on that game. And on a Monday morning, I work for myself. So I get up early, drop the kids into school, and I come back, have my breakfast, and I watch the condensed film while I'm having my breakfast to get my fix. But what I'll do is I won't turn on my phone, won't turn on my tablet, won't turn on my computer, so that you get an extra game in, if you like. Not live, but the next best thing.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I do that many a time. Again, after obviously working nights, the Thursday and Monday night games I don't see, but the Monday night game, I'll have a lazy day in bed on Tuesday. Get up around about 1 o'clock, and then I sort of just lie in bed till about 3:30, watch the condensed 2.5 hour version. But again, like you say, avoiding Twitter and that, all notifications are off on the phone, and you just getting drawn in by the excitement and that then.
Yeah, I just do a Twitter and a Facebook blackout on it.
Yeah,
I just literally don't look at my phone. Anything I see coming through, I clear off the top of it, so that I can kind of watch the game as cleanly as I possibly can without interference. You know.
Yeah, sometimes you can get opinions that sort of cloud your own judgment at times, can't you?
Yeah, well, like if you want to catch up on a game, like I saw the Chargers game. I can't remember who it was against a couple of weeks, or maybe the Seahawks or something like that.
Yeah.
Because I knew as a Jets fan, like I was going to be watching the Jets and the Chargers tonight. So to get a lowdown on, what kind of players like Keenan Allen and that on the outside is going to do to to the Jets, it's worrying.
Yes.
So you kind of get a good feel for condensing a film, breaking it down, analysing it, that you can't do if you watch like the highlights on a NFL.com or something like that. Yeah, you tend to get just a quick snap of it, but you can't actually break it down properly, Yeah,
there's a lot to be said for watching a game back on the coach's film. I know not everyone has access to this, but for me, the TV angle, I don't think you see, it's not the best angle for me. You can't see everything, and you don't know what the play is, and so on and so on. But you can just see so much more. The plays developing, how certain adjustments and stuff are made. It just, I can't. What's the word? Phrase I'm looking for. I can't sort of encourage people enough to go. I'm not saying go and watch an entire game on coach's film. Just go watch like 10, 15 minutes and just note a play that you've seen on TV and you go, that frustrated me. Then go watch it back on that and you'll be like, that was maybe why.
Yeah, I haven't all out geeked and tried that yet. I'm sticking to the condensed thing because I have to draw a line somewhere.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I probably push the boundaries a bit too far, to be fair. I don't know how I'll get away with it at times.
Yeah. But no, other than that, looking forward to tonight's games and have the weekly ritual of just sitting out. I get everything done, then sit down around about 6 o'clock and try and dominate the TV. Try and keep, kids and wife away from them for X amount of hours. And then I'll give up any amount of hours during the week and watch any amount of Coronation Street or whatever it is to give me that few hours on a Saturday night or Sunday night.
You know what? You could make a good topic there. What do you have to sacrifice in a week for the TV on a Sunday?
Exactly. My other one was, what are people's Sunday rituals? From the time I wake up on a Sunday morning, what with the Twitter and that, you get people, and I know you do too, people saying, Jets game today, up for this, how are we going to do all this kind of stuff? But I'm literally beginning to get psyched at about 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning And I'm going, right, okay, what have I got to get done? And
you
now sit down, have my dinner, right, and then right into 5:30 and right TV on. That's it.
Yeah, I'm always thinking around about like 11, 12 o'clock. What have I got to cook? How long is that going to take? Will it affect what I've got to do? And then it's like, oh dear. And then it's like fantasy stuff as well. It's like, have I got all lineups checked? Like, that's done. The wife's semi-happy in another.
What have I got to do now that I won't get mithered later on?
Yes, it's a good. That's an interesting question. I'll ask people that in a moment. See what their sort of rituals are. For me, sort of similar to yourself. Get up. We usually have like some form of fry up or breakfast, and then we have like a wander around town. I take the wife out shopping or whatever, because town's only just a brisk couple of minute walk for me. So we'll probably do that, grab a coffee, chill out, maybe watch a couple of shows. We've taped them in the week, and then she'll watch. I know she's in there now shouting at the TV for the Chelsea game, so I sort of get away, leave her to moan at the TV, and then I come and do this. But yeah, she knows come 6 o'clock that's TV's gone.
She's getting nowhere near it.
Yeah, basically. But in fairness, she never really complains about anything like that, so I can't argue too much.
I think mine's given up complaining about it. She's just decided, right, that's it. He's going to watch it anyway, so I'm not going to bother. Yeah,
there has been moments where there's been a show on that she's wanted to watch. It's like, fair enough, I'm on my Game Pass, so I can sit. I'll sit with you, but I've got my earphones in on the Game Pass.
Yeah, that's it.
I've done that one. I imagine that happens quite a lot, in fairness.
It does, and even the off-season I start watching Path to the Draft and stuff like that, and on a Saturday night or even, a Wednesday night, and the wife's watching whatever, and you can just plug it out in and away you go and watch it on your tablet.
Yeah, do you watch the Football Life episodes? You catch any of them?
Yeah, I do, definitely. Yeah, I mean, haven't seen all of them, but I will say the one I really liked was the one about Jimmy Johnson and his relationship with Jerry Jones.
I don't think I've seen that one, no.
That's worth going back and looking at. It was fascinating to see how Jerry Jones came in, acquired the company, how he went out, got Jimmy Johnson. Now, my timeline could be wrong on this, so I'll stand. But the interesting dynamic of how they built, a Super Bowl winning team.
Yeah.
I think they had 2 Super Bowls, and how the relationship started to fall apart and why it fell apart.
Yeah, it's definitely
really, really good. Yeah. And then seeing Jimmy Johnson afterwards, he's some character.
Yeah, there's a few of these older guys from back in the day. I was watching one, I can't remember the one I watched the other day. And you sort of look at them and they were like drinking and smoking. And I know we know that some of the players got up to some dodgy shenanigans these days, but back in the day they go missing, miss curfew, turn up and play lights out.
Yeah, well, it's a bit like, I'm Irish, so it's a bit like Paul McGrath. He could do whatever he wanted during the week and then turn up on Saturday and have a binder.
One of the best books. Have you ever read Lawrence Taylor's biography at all? I know he's got 2 out. I think it's the second one I've read. The stuff that he used to get up to before a game, I'd like 2-3 hours sleep. He used to sleep in his car and stuff outside the ground, and then it's just
and then turn up and as if he trained all week.
Yeah, 4 or 5 sacks, and it's like it's just how he's weights, how he rolls, and it's like wow. Yeah, I don't think you could do it these days, but yeah,
not a chance. Not a chance.
The older books and stuff, I definitely. I
haven't done that. I've watched plenty of the Football Lives and NFL films and stuff like that, and I tend to watch it in the off season actually more because there's only so much you can watch as well at the same time.
Yeah,
you've got to draw the line somewhere.
Yeah, you gotta. Can't push the boundaries too much.
No, I've pushed it far enough.
I second that one.
Yeah.
Anything else I can do you for then, Ray? Or?
No, that's it. I'm ticking this one off so I can sit down in 40 minutes.
Brilliant. I appreciate the call, buddy, and the film recommendation and everything as well. I caught that with the wife last night. So
you enjoyed that?
Enjoyed the film, yeah. The ending, not to give anything away, it was Gone Girl that we went to watch. I thought the ending was a bit weird.
Well, I'd read the book a couple of years ago on holidays, and it was funny. Everybody around the pool was reading it and passing a book from one person to the other, kind of thing. From the point of view of having read the book and seen the film, I kind of went, "Oh God, it's okay." But I'm not going to give it away.
No, I won't give it away.
It's a fun movie, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it very. I did not see did not see coming what sort of happened, and then the ending, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I won't spoil it because I know it's all new in there.
It reminded me in a way of Basic Instinct. It was that kind of
it was
funny, thriller, but don't take it too seriously. It's a bit fun.
I agree. I appreciate the recommendation. We both enjoyed that, so that was good. Thank you very much.
Well, we'll keep in touch.
Yeah, we'll do, Ray. I shall probably play catch up with you on Twitter throughout the rest of the evening then, sir.
Yes, I'll be effing and blinding at the Jets later on.
I'll be joining you on that front.
Take care.
Okay, buddy, take care. Appreciate the call. Bye. And that was a good friend, Ray O'Connor there. We were talking about films and stuff and Game Pass over the past few days, weeks. So it's the first time I spoke to Ray as well. The good thing about this show, I've known a lot of the guys on Twitter for a long time, and actually getting to speak to them is good stuff. So right then, jump back onto Twitter. So, Marty seems to like the idea about them play daft for the draft. So, whoever's got the number one pick hosts the draft. So, Will Davis tuning into the Zone Coverage FS. Good stuff. I've only missed the first half. Biff's talking to Ray there. Says Ray's Twitter handle, I should say, is Ray De La Soul. Says Ray De La Soul in the house. Whoop whoop. That's our first of it. Whoop whoop on the show that has forced me into a coughing fit. So cheers for that. Excuse me. We have Fantasy 5 at 5 coming in the next 4 minutes. So I'll jump back to this quarter season review. I believe I was on tight ends with Dwayne Allen and the number 4 slot. So next up at number 3 is the Chiefs' Travis Kelce. Pretty much announced his presence on the big stage on Monday night as he tore apart the Pats, much to my joy. I'll be selfish, my selfish joy. So yeah, he's averaging 64 yards a game. He has again 9.4 yards after catch, 15 first downs, 2 touchdowns, and 6 of his 18 receptions have been for 20 yards or plus, and only Zach Ertz for the Eagles can match that. Both of them have got 6 receptions over 20 yards, I should say. God, I'm struggling now. That's throwing me off. Then at number 2 then, Chicago Bears, Martellus Bennett. He's averaging 73 yards a game, an average of 4.6 yards after the catch, 17 first downs, 4 touchdowns, and topping the list. Don't know if I'd be surprised really, because he's been fantastic talking of Fantasy 5 at 5. But if you've got Titans, Delaney Walker as your tight end, he's been racking up the points on that. Averaging 79.9 yards a game, 5.5 yards after the catch, 14 first downs and 3 touchdowns. So that is our tight end rundown there, who I believe have been the top 4 tight ends from what I've seen. I've seen the majority of the games, not every snap. I don't have enough time for that. And as mentioned with Ray there, you don't want to push the boundaries too much. So the next sort of selection was hard for me. I didn't want to go top 4 corners, top 4 safeties, top 4 DNs and stuff. So basically, I just threw all that category into one and come up with the top 4 defensive players. We got notable mentions, Bobby Wagner and safety of the Vikings, Harrison Smith. I did do this before Thursday, which is a good job because he would have been bumped off the list because he had a stinker on Thursday. But prior to that, Harrison Smith was playing well. So in at number 4 comes Bills rookie linebacker Preston Brown. He's filling in for Kiko Alonso, who was absolutely outstanding last season. Preston Brown come in. It's like Kiko's not been missed, which is a bold statement in fairness. So Bills rookie linebacker Preston Brown, he's jumped out for me. He's been very, very good. In at number 3, another phone call here. Let's jump to the phone. Hello?
Evening, Mark. How are you?
Oh, hi, Martin. Very well. Fantasy 5 at 5. Bang on the button, sir.
Well, I thought it was a wee bit early, but if I'm on the button, then so much the better.
Yeah, 30 seconds. What's 30 seconds amongst friends, hey?
Well, that's what I keep telling my other half.
Oh, dear. We've delved to gutter level early doors.
And why not?
Why not? Right then, I should just play your tune just 1 second, and then we shall catch up after this, as it is Fantasy 5 at 5. I don't know how to stop the music. Oh, there we go. Enough of that nonsense. Martin, sir, how have you been?
Not too bad. Good week with regards to football. Nobody got charged, nobody got arrested, nobody beat up their wives. So
yes,
we can now focus clearly just on fantasy and just enjoy the games for what they are.
Yeah, it's got to be the first time for, it feels like forever, in all fairness. So the off season and the first few weeks of the season, it's been nothing but trouble.
Mm-hmm. So now it's actually nice just to be talking about the games, and hope long may it last for the remainder of the season.
Here on that front. I'm with you on that.
Now, we did get a good question from Twitter. I don't know whether you've got the details of the guy who posed the question to us, because I'm on the phone rather than...
I do, yes. If you can just sort of fill for me in any form of capacity. I do believe...
Well, what the question was with regards to the waiver wire, so I'll go into that whilst you're finding out the details so we can thank him. I believe his question was, for a novice, it was, how do you go about the waiver wire? It's very, very hit and miss.
Yes. It was from Tony Peckham at Acoustic TP.
Yeah, it's a great question, and the waiver wire, for those who maybe don't know, who don't play fantasy football, you get the opportunity during the week to add to your roster any free agents or people who have been dropped. You can add to them, and the waiver wire basically determines the order that you get to pick. So, for example, if by some random opportunity a really good player is on there as a free agent at the start of the week, if you're the worst player from that week, then you get first dibs. So it kind of evens everything out a wee bit, and it makes sure that that the teams who most need these free agency pickups get the first shot.
Yeah, it's I say I've had a miserable start in a couple of my leagues, 0-3 starts, and it's come in handy for me, in fairness.
It has, but here's the thing.
Oh, are you still there, Martin? Here's the thing, and he's dropped off. We seem to have this problem. That is good old Skype. Skype is a pain in the rear end, especially if you're on a phone. So, Martin, if you can give me a call back there, sir. Yeah, so that question was coming in about the waiver wire from Acoustic TP. Hopefully Martin will ring back any second and we will touch back on that. While I wait for Martin to rejoin us on the line, I'll jump back on Twitter. So we have a tweet here. From UK Draft Guide, Matt Phillips. He's had the pleasure of interviewing Travis Kelce after an injured rookie season. He is a beast, especially ball and hander in space. That's good to know. Appreciate that. Martin's back now. Hello.
It wouldn't be a fantasy 5 at 5 if we didn't get cut off.
It doesn't. It's, to be honest, it's Skype is a pain. In fairness, it drives me insane at times.
Well, maybe see if I can start calling you on your mobile instead, if that would work. But as I was saying, Travis Kelce, you pounded me in the 3 wide receiver league, thanks in no small part to him.
Yes.
I take it that's someone you picked up on the waiver wire?
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. That was a good pickup, and many people have picked up Travis Kelce, and that's a great pickup for him. I've picked him up in a couple of leagues after I lost Kyle Rudolph, but here's the thing. Larry Connell was there as well, and I just completely missed him. But of course, last Thursday night, he got you a 3-touchdown game for the Giants. So, unfortunately, as he says, it is hit and miss. But here's the few things that you can maybe do to make that wee bit easier. You've got to scope out the situation. For example, there's a couple of running back situations right now. In Minnesota with the Vikings, you've got Asiati, who's the number 1 running back right now, but just behind him there's a guy called McKinnon, and lots of people think he's the actual starting running back in the next 6 weeks. He'll be the starting running back. At Cleveland, we've got the Browns running back situation. Ben Tate is just back, and West has dropped down a wee bit, and we can expect actually Crowell to be the next in line there. So if you can pick these guys up now, they stand to do you well in the next 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah, that's one that's baffled me, has been the Browns' backfield and fairness, because it's like, who do you start? What? Again, as you mentioned with the Vikings, there's no sort of specific, definite answer at the moment. It's sort of juggling, isn't it? And the one that you always rest, that's the great game. That's
the way it goes sometimes. But like I say, if you keep your eye on that, you can hear from other podcasts, on ESPN, that sort of thing, what people really think about the backups. And as I say, West kind of dropped down. Another player to pick up as soon as possible is Bishop Sankey. It's not easy saying that if you've had a wine this evening, but he's now starting to get the hang of the NFL offense, and he's soon going to overtake Sean Green.
Yeah, that's not easy to overtake Sean Green. You could do that with 2 broken legs, in fairness. All he does is plod.
True, but up until now, it's been a better option than Bishop Sankey. So I mean, he has been frustrating, but his time is going to come, and it's going to come pretty soon, by the sounds of it. Especially seeing as the Titans, they really don't have that much to play for anymore this season.
No, that's quite sad, isn't it? What are we, 5 weeks into the season, and it's like all doom and gloom already?
Exactly. But, I mean, this is the thing about the waiver wire, just to finish it off. The best thing you can do is research. If you can pick up a player a week before he actually hits the headlines, then you're ahead of the game. And that's the hard part about the waiver wire. Because quite often, the only time you'll go there is for injuries, and it's very difficult to compete with everybody else getting those hot ticket pickups.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think you can read... go to some of the local beats for the teams, or even like the local newspapers. I know it's a bit of research, but if you want to get like the extra jump on your teams, maybe looking into those sort of articles might shed a bit of light into what might be happening down the road.
Mm-hmm. And not that I want to shill out any potential listeners, but things like the ESPN Fantasy Football Focus podcast, they're fantastic for it, because that's their job, and it's a daily podcast, so you keep your ear to the ground with something like that, and quite often you can get in ahead of everyone else.
Good stuff.
And of course, there's 4th Down and Out.
Oh,
the NFL
obviously,
podcast,
yeah. I was going to say, surely that comes in second to you guys. You're doing yourself a disservice there.
Well, we're not paid, and we're not daily. So if you want the ear to the ground, then it kind of has to be these ESPN podcasts. But if you want a bit of fun and a bit of frivolity, then by all means tune into 4th Down and Out.
Yeah, or the best weekly podcast then. I was struggling with that myself, fantasy podcast then. There we go.
That'll do us, yes. We're happy enough for that. The best weekly fantasy football podcast from Scotland. Yeah, we'll settle for that.
Yeah, brilliant. Do you have anything else for us, Martin?
Not that I could probably fit into another 5 minutes. I mean, rather than go through the injuries, I'll leave that to the guys from Huddle Magazine, because they're giving me the breaking news. Next week, I'm probably, if nobody else comes up with a good question like that, I'll probably talk about the names that you just need to keep, even though they're probably frustrating you.
Yeah.
Because they have such potential that they're probably going to break out. And just to give you an idea, just to give you a tease for the tease, there's players like Cordarrelle Patterson. He is annoying me to bits right now, because he's probably the most talented player on the Vikings roster. But for some reason, they just can't get the ball to him. No matter who's the quarterback, he just isn't getting the ball. But you saw from that first week just exactly what he can do.
Yeah.
But then he's just dropped off the face of the planet. Yeah. So players like that, players like Larry Fitzgerald, who you know is a great player, but just not doing it fantasy-wise just now. We're going to talk a bit about them, I think.
Yeah. Great stuff. So in the meantime then, any questions? Where are we best directing folks to?
Well, on Twitter we're at Dundee NFL, and we'll always answer questions throughout the week. And if they're good enough, like the one this week, then we'll throw that up onto the Fantasy at 5, and we'll also talk about them on our podcast as well. We record every Tuesday or Wednesday, and if you give us a shout out, then we'll answer your question on our podcast. So that's probably the best place. Other than that, if they throw it to you, then no doubt it will rebound to us at some stage. So Twitter's your best answer, I would say. Fantastic
stuff. So we'll get those over to you. Any questions for the guys? And definitely go check out the podcast. Say this every week, but I really mean it. Go check it out. I'm a regular now. I enjoy the show. It's always good fun.
Much appreciated.
It's good to hear that Russell's decided to cheer himself up as well.
Well, it's been long overdue. He's kind of been a stereotypical wee man Scott. So I'm not entirely sure how we're going to handle it if he does actually cheer up. You know, we're kind of used to his dour, sour-pussed individual.
Well, he's clearly got an eye. He's clearly got an eye for the ladies. So I imagine whilst you're taping, recording, just keep sending in random pictures of Ali Lauter in that bikini.
Yeah, that could get the kind of response that we would, we could actually get that small little explicit sign in our podcast description, and I don't think that's a good
idea. Oh dear, brilliant stuff, Martin. As always, sir, I appreciate the time and for you coming on and the continued support, mate. Thank you.
Always a pleasure. Enjoy your football Sunday.
Will do. You too, sir. I shall catch up with you. I'm useless at catching up with you. It usually ends up on about a Thursday or Friday, but I will be in touch, sir.
Okay, take care, guys.
Take care, Martin. Bye. Brilliant stuff. That is your Fantasy 5 at 5 from Martin and the gang there. And I do recommend you go and check out their podcast, Fourth Down and Out Podcast, and give them a follow on Twitter at Dundee NFL. It's good fun, good banter on there. So definitely go and check that out. We do have Huddle coming up in the next few moments. I will drop Tom a message if you are listening, Tom. Give me 5 minutes. I shall rattle off the last of my quarter season review and maybe drop in the love line. Oh, and fixtures. I best tell you who's on the TV and what channel. So where was I? I got to the top 4 defensive players. I think I'd mentioned Bills rookie linebacker Preston Brown. I think, did I get into number 3? If I didn't, we'll go over that again. We'll go for the Detroit Lions linebacker DeAndre Levy, playing some fantastic ball of late. And a hot new entry, one of the most impressive rookies of the year, is cornerback for the Chicago Bears, Kyle Fuller. 3 picks, 2 forced fumbles. Guy looks like a seasoned pro, never mind a rookie. Been absolutely outstanding. Probably firm favourite for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Very, very impressed by Kyle Fuller's work, even at the expense of my good old Jets. But we won't delve into that. And number 1 defensive player is possible MVP of the entire league. Just hand him any form of trophy that you've got, any accolade, send to JJ Watt. I said that Philip Rivers is playing some phenomenal football. Is anyone playing outside of Rivers any better than JJ Watt? Watt, a phenomenal athlete. He just seems like a really genuine, nice guy, and work ethic. Just a great role model for every person from every walk of life, really. JJ Watt, I applaud everything you do, sir. It's phenomenal. So yeah, he tops that list by a long, long way, in all fairness. I did something random. I decided to go top 4 coaches. I don't know how this one's going to sit. I basically done it on the good old how teams have been performing of late and in tough circumstances and stuff. So with that in mind, I went John Harbaugh of the Ravens. He comes in at 4th. I think they're on a 3-game winning streak now with all the fallout and stuff that's gone on there. He's somehow managed to rally his team and got them going in the right direction. In at 3, Cowboys, Jason Garrett. Maybe he gets more credit than he deserves. He's got his coordinators mixing up the right balance with the run and the pass there. So yeah, he gets obviously a mention there. In at number 2, Mike McCoy of the Chargers. I like what the Chargers are doing. They're playing some great ball. And for me, Bruce Arians, the Cards, number 1. All those losses that they've had on the defense via free agency, injury. Drew Stanton's now filling in at quarterback. He seems to have installed them with some just mental toughness that I'd not seen from the Cardinals in a long, long time, and some sort of self-belief. And they could have easily lost to the Chargers, in fairness, in that opening game on the Monday night. But I believe the mental toughness and the great coaching that he's provided them sort of got them over the line. They faced the Broncos today, and I do fancy an upset there. I'd said earlier to my good friend Steve that Peyton Manning is throwing plates of jelly, balls wobbling all over the place. So just maybe there. So that's my thoughts on the coaches. You've still got time to get in touch with the show. Another couple of minutes before I give Tom a ring. So 01618184593. Just jump in on Twitter, see what the reaction's been so far. A few tweets coming up. Yeah, we mentioned Matt Phillips at UK Draft Guide. Oh, sorry. At Matt Phillips 78 is the Twitter handle there. Interviewed Travis Kelce. I'm definitely intrigued to know more about that. So anything you've got, if you wouldn't mind, Matt, just passing on. Or if you want to come on next week and talk about that, that'd be great if you wouldn't mind. Marty says, yeah, JJ Watt is a freak. Thank the Lord that the Patsies passed on him. Laugh out loud. Hashtag Belichick crap at drafting. Right then, I'm going to just jump into what have I got? I mentioned questions, and I want to get this out there because Martin actually took the time out to send me a fantastic email regarding the draft process. And he seems, I know I don't mean to bang home the Jets theme too hard, but the email was very, very good email, and I want to see what sort of reaction and stuff this gets. Really, it was in regards to the basically GMs, and he was like bemoaning that Mr. Idzik's draft has not gone to well, and he's saying it's all about the process and best player available, and he's basically saying football common sense is gone. He seems to feel that the whole sort of the entire draft process is that overanalyzed now, and that pure football players get overlooked or outshone by maybe some stats or like tangibles overlooked and everything. For his example he gives here, the Jets were desperate for a playmaker on offense, but they made the safe pick and taking Pryor. Passed on Cooks, who had a slightly lower grade, but he seems to be having a good season. Is this grading system right, wrong? Are these GMs the sort of guys, the right guys for the role? What's their sort of experience, their background? Is there anything? Should there be some sort of... that's the sort of word I'm looking for here. GMs need to be football guys, is what Marty says. That's what I'm looking for. Football guys with some balls. And Martin, I want to point you, I'm not qualified, in fairness, to sort of answer this question. And it's way, not shy to admit defeat on this aspect, but beyond my capabilities. And there was a fantastic podcast. Don't know if you're aware of it, the Ross Tucker Football Podcast. He has Andrew Brandt on. He was a former player personnel director for the Packers, and he was on Ross Tucker Football Podcast on Wednesday the 1st of October, and he went very, very in-depth on pretty much bang on what you're saying in regards to your email. And he will do that far more justice than me. He had the same sort of points that you're making there about what these GMs and that should be. So I recommend that if you can go back, it's the Ross Tucker Football Podcast, and it'll say with Andrew Brandt. Go back, that aired on Wednesday the 1st of October. I highly recommend that you go and listen to that. I know it's a bit of a cop-out my end, but that is the best answer you'll get. And as soon as I heard that and I saw this email, I thought of you. So I don't mean to sort of palm you off on there. I'd be way out of my depth, but I get your point. Are we overanalyzing stuff and everything? It's a very, very good argument, actually. Listen to that, get back to me, and we'll sort of go on through that. We also had another question on Twitter from @MadAboutGP. He asked about the excessive celebration sort of penalties, and why does it seem that there's a flag on every play? I took to Twitter again. I've been actively tweeting people at Channel 4, Wembley, to just zero response. So I went after Dean Blandino, the Vice President of Officiating, on Twitter, asked him the question, what's the crack with the flags and stuff? What are your thoughts and input on that? Guess what? No reply. So you guys are asking the questions. I'm trying to, I don't know if I'm barking up the wrong tree. No one wants to reply, say something controversial or what, but I cannot get a response. If anyone can get onto anyone about any of this, let me know. See what the crack is here. So yeah, those are the two questions that I had. And apologies again, Marty, for sort of not answering that email, but you will get... He lays out everything. It's a fantastic pod. So definitely go and check that out. Just before we jump then to catching up with Tom and the latest news, your fixtures for this week. Don't forget, bye week this week. Who's on the bye? Oakland Raiders and Miami are on the bye this week. We had the Vikings and Packers. That was Thursday's game. Packers handed the Vikings their rear end. So we have the Chicago Bears at the Carolina Panthers. I do believe that's the early game on Sky today. We had the Browns at Titans, Rams at Eagles, Falcons at Giants, the Bucks at the Saints, Texans at Cowboys. Nearly said Cowgirls then. Oh dear, just did. We have the Buffalo Bills at Detroit Lions, Ravens Colts, that's got the potential to be a really good game. Steelers at Jags, we have the Cards at the Broncos, another really good game. Chiefs at the 49ers, the return of Alex Smith, that could, again, is another really good game. Jets at Chargers, that is the 9:25 game on Sky. And the late game is the Bengals at the Pats, that is 1:30 a.m. tonight, Monday morning, whichever way you view that. That is on Channel 4. And then the Monday night game, which we have on the British Eurosport, that is the Seattle Seahawks at the Washington Redskins. That is 1:30 kickoff Monday night, Tuesday morning. And that pretty much rounds that up. I shall just send Tom a message there. We've got a shout out for another good podcast here, Move the Sticks podcast. Yeah, that is a very, very good podcast as well. That is from what was it? Move the Sticks now. Daniel Jeremiah, from a scouting perspective, he offers some great insight there if you're into geeking in on your football like myself. So definitely go and check that one out. Just texting Tom now, telling that I am ready. So yeah, another great show. It's flown by today. Might have to extend this bad boy the way it's going. So as I await for Tom, we got through your fixtures, sort of stuff. Yeah, we fancy advice, you know where I go for that now. That is at Dundee NFL, the Fourth Down and Out podcast. So please go and check that out. Here we have Tom from Huddle. Hello, Tom.
Hello. A little bit quieter this week in the background.
Yeah, no, should have put some Def Leppard on in the background just for randomness.
To be perfectly honest with you, I was going to get my daughters to stand here and scream and shout just to kind of get the background from last week. But I mean, a little bit quieter this week. I'm back home, and I've been watching around the news. I've got a few things for you, but there's nothing great going on around the NFL today. No real surprises.
No, it seems very quiet, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I've been listening in, obviously, to the show while I'm sat here catching the news and stuff. I mean, in terms of the questions that you were saying that you've been trying to hit up, was it the head of officiating?
Yeah.
I mean, if you can fire the email over to me, I'm kind of in contact with Mike Pereira, former head of officiating, who does a lot of stuff for the CBS broadcasts and Fox broadcasts, so I can kind of give him a shout. And I mean, it's not going to be the official line because obviously he's a couple of years removed from the process, but he's obviously still got his finger on the pulse, so maybe we can get a couple of answers to the questions.
Yeah, that'd be great stuff.
You know, and I can perhaps kind of put you in contact with him as well to see if he can just answer them directly and maybe give you some answers in future for anything else.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, not a problem at all, mate. I mean, we ask him all sorts all the time, so he's kind of used to me mithering him and saying, you know, Mike, what's the score with this? And I mean, a few weeks ago when we were talking, I think it was just before. I think it was week 1, was it, where we were looking at the flags that were being thrown on receivers.
Yeah.
It was Mike Pereira that I went to and got the answers for that. So I mean, he's kind of finger on the pulse guy. So hopefully we can sort some answers out for you on that front.
Yeah, that'd be great. Great stuff.
I mean, in terms of news, I'll jump straight in the news just so that we don't run out of time and stuff, and then we can kind of go to our usual ramblings afterwards, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that's all good for me, yeah.
I mean, I'll kind of start with the next 2 Wembley teams. So, I mean, starting with the visitors, Detroit. Calvin Johnson is active today. That's breaking news coming out today. So he is active. He will play.
I thought they might have rested him this week because they looked all right without him, in fairness.
Well, you would think so, possibly against the Bills, that they would maybe rest him, but no, he's listed as active today, and that's kind of the breaking news that's come out in the last kind of hour.
Yeah.
Going over to Atlanta at New York, Julio Jones and Devin Hester are both probable. Both practiced Friday, and Julio Jones has been out warming up in a pom-pom hat, so that's kind of the first signs that things are getting cold over in the US.
A pom-pom hat means you're ready to go.
And Odell Beckham Jr. will play today for the New York Giants. He does know the playbook, and he's going to be kind of limited on what he does, but he will play. So, you know, we're going to see a little bit of the rookie today and see how he fares.
Yeah, but I'm interested to see him, in fairness.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested to see how he fares myself. I mean, obviously we've seen Watkins and we've seen all the other guys, and Odo Beckham was kind of one of the guys that we were talking about in the off-season between myself, you and Steve on your Jets podcast in terms of, who you guys would like to see going to the Jets along with Marquise Lee, who obviously ended up with the Jaguars. So, I mean, obviously I've seen how Lee's played out when he's played, and he's obviously injured at the moment, but I'm kind of interested to see how Beckham fares. And, Eli said that he knows the playbook, so it should be interesting to see how he gets on today, even though his play is going to be limited. So I'm quite looking forward to seeing the highlights of that one. Houston-Dallas happens once every 4 years, the Battle of Texas. Arian Foster and Andre Johnson will both play today. Brian Cushing has been quoted as the Texans have got to force Tony Romo to throw to his hot reads, and Romo obviously is kind of doing okay at the moment. He's 77% of passes completed off play action, and that's all obviously because of the threat that DeMarco Murray's been putting into the game.
It's going to be interesting today, J.J. Watt up against that line, because that Cowboys line has looked very, very impressive. And if J.J. Watt rips that bit today, just give him whatever accolades and trophies you can. It's done deal.
I mean, J.J. Watt's kind of the exception that proves the rule, isn't he, in terms of defensive players? And I mean, obviously he's now an offensive threat as well. So, I mean, he's kind of the the megastar in terms of defensive line. That he's the X factor, if you like. So, you don't hold too much against the Cowboys' offensive line if they struggle a little bit to handle Watt. But, I mean, it's going to be an interesting battle to see how those guys get on. But Romo certainly doing what he needs to do. And it's kind of, I think DeMarco Murray's plays kind of took a little bit off Tony Romo in terms of the pressure that's on him. And it's allowing him to flourish a bit more despite, obviously, his back injury and his surgery and so forth. So I think the resurgence of Murray and the way things are at Dallas has really benefited him, and Murray in a contract year is looking like getting the big bucks next year off his play this time round. You still there, mate?
Yeah. I just thought you were just going to roll into the next one.
Sorry. No. You normally give me a response. I was like, okay, no.
I was miles away. I do apologise.
St. Louis, Philadelphia. Apparently, Shady McCoy's been a bit frustrated in the Eagles' offense so far. He's been warming up in a pom-pom hat as well. So, it's kind of cold on that East Coast today. So, he's looking to have a better game today. St. Louis have actually come out and named Austin Davis as the starter for the season, which is quite big for them. They're placing their faith in him.
Who would have saw that?
Say again?
Who would have saw that beginning of the
season?
Well,
exactly. I mean, it's a big move for him, Davis himself, but also a big move for the Rams. And kind of with Bradford out, looking to the future, where they might land in the draft and so forth. It's kind of a big deal in terms of him going forward and what he can prove. Tevon Austin's back today as well to give him another weapon in that offense. So, things are kind of rolling forward for Austin Davis in terms of confirmation of that starting place. Gives him a little bit more confidence going into the game, a little bit more confidence through practice through next week, and having that extra offensive weapon hopefully will translate into a little bit more for the St. Louis fans who, being a Jaguars fan, I kind of feel for you guys, but at least you've got one win.
Yeah.
Hopefully that will change today, but I mean, I won't be betting anything on that.
No.
Anyway, back to the news. I mean, Chicago at Carolina, big game. Panthers are talking about last year and their experience of starting 1-3, and then obviously what they went on to achieve after that. So they're not kind of sulking or saying that their season's over just yet. They're saying we're just kind of getting started. Thomas Davis is well aware of how much it means to Coach Rivera to beat the Bears after his time spent in Chicago. So they're all fired up for that game. And this last week was Cam Newton's 7th straight game without a rushing touchdown. Wow. He's actually had more sacks than rushing touchdowns this season.
That's scary from his point of view.
Well, that's it. So there's kind of a bit of a decline on the way that Cam Newton's been playing. So, it'll be interesting today to see whether he tries to compensate for that and perhaps run a bit more, or whether he's still conservative. Obviously, the injury perhaps playing on his mind that he took in the pre-season hit that he took. So, it's an interesting dynamic, and I mean, a lot rests on what Cam Newton does. So that 1-3 start that translated into that playoff run last year, was a lot of it was down to Cam Newton's play. So it's kind of interesting to see that Newton himself isn't hitting those rushing touchdowns, and will that translate into yet another run, or are they a spent force? Baltimore at Indianapolis. Owen Daniels has said that Flacco's expertise in the offense is absolutely fantastic, and the key to winning the game today for the Ravens is that they can't afford to play from behind, turn over the ball, and they need to control the clock to win, which is kind of obvious. If you ask me.
I was going to say, that's not really a bold statement, is it?
Not really, no. I mean, Anthony Costanza of the Indianapolis Colts has said that luck right now is zoned in, and I mean, again, that's kind of not a bold statement when you're a team that's averaging 34 points per game. Yeah. Obviously, your quarterback's zoned in. So, no real great news coming out of Indianapolis in the game with Baltimore, but, a few quotes that are kind of players being players. And a team on the bye week to round things up, the Raiders. Obviously, the Raiders after last week. They're obviously, as we all know, they're trying to target John Gruden to come back and work in their head coaching position. But he said that he won't leave his broadcasting job this season, but there is a clause in his contract that he can leave if he wants to, which is inclusive of the end of the season, so they're targeting him. But a new name that's been thrown in the ring today is perhaps Jim Harbaugh from the 49ers. He's in contract year. Potentially, things not going so well at San Francisco right now. So, that's kind of a little bit of speculation that's been thrown around the Raiders organisation. And I mean, 2 weeks ago, we reported to you some speculation that was thrown about the Raiders organisation. It happened last week, so who knows what could be happening next week.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's a bit iffy up in San Fran at the moment. You hear quotes and stuff coming out, there's a bit of unrest, and then someone will say, no, there's no unrest. Someone will say there is. It's confusing messages.
I mean, you've got to look at the relationship between Harbaugh and his GM. I mean, there's always unrest. The pair of them, on a personal level, actually hate each other with a passion. So, I mean, there's always going to be an element of unrest to what's going on down there, because you can't really have two guys that hate each other on a personal level, and, there's not going to be comments, speculation and so forth coming out of that situation. So, I mean, I think at the moment it's kind of media speculation saying that Harbaugh might be available, and it's kind of down to the fact that San Francisco are struggling a little bit. And
I'm with you on that. It's all rosy.
The job's open. He lives in the area. It's all that, putting 1 and 1 together and coming up with 20. So, But as I say, a few weeks ago, the Raiders were kind of putting speculation out there about Dennis Allen's tenure and who might replace him, and obviously that's come true. So there's nothing to say that they're not looking at that as an option, but I mean, Sperano's the guy for now.
Oh, yeah. I said my piece on Sperano earlier, so we won't revisit that.
So, I mean, for me, obviously, back home this week, a bit more chilled out.
Yeah, you sound nice and relaxed, mate.
It was a bit stressful last week.
Yeah, I can imagine.
A bit busy. So a bit more chilled out this week. Managed to sit and watch a bit more of the news and stuff that I needed to grab, and it's a bit more quiet in the background as well. Yeah,
that does help. Cool. It keeps stress levels at a minimum.
It was a good sound, though, I've got to say. I listened back to it during the week, and it was a good sound in the background. I'm kind of really looking forward to the next game. Yeah. There's probably a lot of guys out there who are coming along to the next game. I know yourself, you're coming along as well. So, I mean, it's going to be a good game. I think that Atlanta and Detroit, I'm really looking forward to seeing between Megatron and Stafford and Ryan and Julio Jones, Roddy White, it's going to be a great game.
Great players on display there. So, yeah, roll on the next game.
Yeah, and as well, the fact that we all get to watch it at a reasonable time of the afternoon, our time, and then go on and be able to watch our own teams. Well, apart from the fact that you'll be doing a radio show and I'll be in the locker room interviewing people, but... Yeah. Apart from that, we'll kind of we'll kind of be able to get to watch our own teams after all the work's done, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that'd be good. Right then, sir. We've rolled over a few moments. Anything else then before we go? Anything going on with Huddle of late? Promotion offers, latest edition and stuff?
Yeah, latest edition came out this week. So, I mean, it's a look forward to that game at Wembley. The main feature article is just looking at the two teams, how they're going to square off, whose offence and defence are looking better and so forth. We've got a bit of an international series update, just a recap of the game there at Wembley last week. A little bit of looking for Rams fans on the situation with Sam Bradford and how that might progress. Obviously, our usual around 32 a page dedicated to every team. And Eric Ebron will be our rookie profile this month. He's obviously a Detroit Lions first round pick. Bit in there from Nuola, the guys who deliver our flag football news. There's some flag football in there for you GB flag football fans. And yeah, $2.99. Get over to huddlemagazine.com, download it. Read it, tell us how great it is, and then we'll fire the next one just in time for the Wembley game after next, which will feature my Jaguars, and I'm very much looking forward to that.
Okay, then that's fantastic stuff. Right, I better shoot as I've got a chuck in the oven cooking away, and I don't want to set the flat on fire whilst I'm here.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. I've just got to get my Jaguars game loaded up and get ready to go.
Right, I shall check my lineups and my fancy and all that sort of nonsense and tea and game on. So that is me done.
Happy days.
Okay then, Tom. I shall speak to you as we go throughout the week as always. I appreciate all the info and that, mate.
No problem at all. Thanks everyone again for listening, and obviously at Huddle Magazine on Twitter if you want to chat through the games today or any time during the week. Cheerio.
Fantastic stuff, mate. Catch you later. And that was Tom from Huddle Magazine as we round up today's show. Again, get us on Twitter, Zone Coverage FS, email the show, Zone Coverage Football Show @mail.com. I shall roll over the shout-outs to next week. Hopefully we have a big list. Thanks to Biff and Ray for ringing in today. Shall catch you all as we go throughout the day and enjoy Pigskin Sunday number 5. And remember, until next week, hustle, hit and never quit.
Thank you for tuning in to today's show. Unable to listen live? We've got that covered. Simply search the Zone Coverage Football Show in either iTunes or Stitcher Radio. And don't forget to subscribe. All our shows and details on how to call into the show can be found on the website www.zonecoveragefootballshow.com.